Putting out system. What is this putting out system? As we discussed till now, a system through which the work is distributed. Like the merchant distributes the work to the weavers. Merchant wants cloth, so he buys the yarn and he gives it to the weavers, gives them the specific instructions how the cloth should be, what about the quality of the cloth, and then asks them to make it and give it back to him. So who is giving the investment here? The merchant buys the yarn. So merchant is investing and then allotting the work to the weavers. So the weavers are getting an advantage of two sides. One, the weavers need not spend any money for buying the yarn. Actually, weavers have to buy their own looms. Each loom costs of around 20,000 rupees. So they need at least 2 looms to do any work. So they have to buy 40,000 worth of looms where they completely clean up all the savings and what they have saved for the future. So all that will be used to buy these looms. So whoever is having loom will only get the work. So the merchant identifies the weavers who are having looms and he allots the works to them. He buys the yarn, gives to the weavers and gives certain instructions to them how the quality of the cloth should be. The weavers are now a little bit benefited because they need not again buy the yarn and do the weaving. So the merchant buys the yarn, gives them instructions, and once the yarn is produced, they need not go and sell it in any shop, because we know the case of Swapna where she has produced everything for 4 months, the finest quality of cotton in her own field, but she is not able to get the actual market price. In the similar way, these people also will not be able to get any benefit from the market. They may also be deprived. They may also be given a very low income. So the merchant will take care of all those things. They need not go and sell the product. They just should make the product and hand it over to our people, the merchant. So the merchant distributes the work to the weavers. The weaver has to work for nearly 12 hours. One person alone cannot do the work, so he needs assistance. Maybe his wife or some elderly person in the family will be supporting them, and finally at the end of the month they will be getting a maximum amount is rupees 3,500. And the weavers are completely dependent on the merchant for the work, for the purchase of the yarn, and how the cloth structure has to be, how the texture has to be made, whether it has to be made soft or whether it has to be slightly rough. So all these instructions are given by our merchant to the weavers. And yarn, they will not know, the weavers, at what cost the cloth what they had produced by their own hands is being sold. They might be paid very less cost, but the cloth may be sold at a very higher cost. So in this system of putting out system, where the actual work should happen in the factory, but the work is being brought outside of the factory by the merchant is again redividing the work to his weavers. So the work is done outside, then the product is brought inside. Generally the work is done inside and the product is brought outside, but here the work is done outside and the product is brought into inside, then it gets the approval and it is sold in the market. So this market system gives a positive advantage for the merchants, and the putting out system favors the merchants more than the weavers. So the putting out system is nothing but distributing the work by the merchant to the weavers. The merchant himself will buy the yarn and give it to the weavers. He will also give specific instructions what that has to be done, how that cloth should be. The weavers will not have any knowledge of the sale of the product or at what cost is the cloth being sold, and they are completely dependent for money, for work and everything on merchant. The putting out system always favors the merchant more than the weaver. The garment exporting factory near Delhi. So we have discussed from where the cotton has come. Swapna has sold the cotton to the trader. There the merchant comes in. The merchant buys the product and divides the work to the weavers. It's known as the putting out system. And once the work is done, the cloth is being made. It is supplied to the garment factory. Now from the garment factory, the making of the shirt happens, and then it is being sent to United States, where there are a long chain of markets or shops, so where they sell the product. So the making of the work is done from the cotton, the raw material, to the finished product. Who is the maximum gainer? Is there equality in the market or not? These are the points which we are going to focus in this part of the lesson. So now, the garment factory which is near in Delhi has to supply the making of the shirt. It has to make the shirt and supply it to the US and the European based business people. The US and the European based business people are really very strict exporters. So they put large amount of fine amount if there is any delay or any discrepancy. In order to meet up to the expectations of the people, the factories maintain strict rules and hire more number of casual workers to work. So the Impex factory hires nearly 70 workers and they are paid 3,000 rupees per month. None of them are permanent workers. They all were taken on the non-permanent basis. Once the work is done, they will be removed from the work. So once the work has been started, they start to make the shirts. Within the timeline, they will try to finish it and then they will try to deliver it. And once it is being delivered, they finally send it to the US and the European business people. Now, the cost of the same shirt in United States will be displayed as $26. If you can convert it $26 into Indian currency, it is nearly around 1200 rupees. So now, who is the largest gainer? Is Swapna the largest gainer? Is the trader the largest gainer? The merchant the largest gainer? The garment factory people are the largest gainers. Who is the real largest gainer of the product? Who is earning huge amount of profit? The largest gainer here is the business people, the US and the European exporters who run a large chain of markets or malls. They sell according to their own conditions. They don't follow any of the Indian rules. They follow according to their own country rules. So the making of the cost for the Impex factory is for the raw materials, for the maintenance of the workers, for maintenance of the office, for the salaries paid, all accounts together for 300 rupees. And they sell it to the US exporters for 600 rupees. Now they got the product for 600 rupees and they are selling it for double the cost, that is 1200 rupees. So now who are the real gainers? Obviously the business people. In the market, is there equality? No, there is no equality. Look at the entire process, how the shirt is being made. Swapna gave the entire raw material which is required. The finest quality of cotton is supplied by Swapna. But Swapna is not getting any large profit. She is just paid merely better than a farm laborer. Then followed by the merchant, traders. They are able to get little bit much better profit when compared to Swapna. The factory people are able to make good amount of money when compared to the others. The cost is 300, they are able to make it for 300 and they have sold it for 600. But the real gainers are the business people who gained almost everything. The 600 is the cost what they invested, and per shirt they are getting double of the cost. So the market doesn't give equal opportunity for all of them. It always benefits the rich and the corporate groups. because the large malls, the large business houses are all owned by the business people only. So these business people run the business with the profit motto. The market gives an opportunity for them to earn huge profits. So what is the solution for this? Swapna is struggling hard to get a bit amount much more than the daily wage laborer. The merchants, the weavers are struggling hard. So what is the solution for this? The solution for this is to form cooperatives, not corporate houses, cooperative societies, to implement the rules strictly so that they get the minimum wages and everybody's life becomes much better than the present situation. So in the next part of the lesson or the next chapter, we will be discussing how did the cooperatives have changed the lives of the people. So in the previous part or the previous lesson, we discussed what are the different types of markets. From that, we got a link to the present lesson, a shirt in the market, how the shirt is being made. So the markets which we look at the product, unknowingly they are involved in the chain of activities. We come to know at the last moment and we never recognize that it is a part of the process of the entire sequence of activities. And in the next part or the next lesson, we will try to know how the cooperative societies can make the lives of the common man much better than the present situation. So that's all we have in this lesson.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.